began the legend of the Hound of the Baskervilles. Know then that the great hall of Baskervilles was once held by Sir Hugo of that name, a wild, profane, and godless man, an evil man in truth, for there was with him a certain ugly and cruel humor that made his name a byword in the county.
Our friend learns swiftly.
Aye.
He's already learned to fly like a wildfowl, and now he swims like a waterfowl. Shall we see how he roasts? By the time the night is out, our friend will know better than to condemn the sport of his master.
Come on out. Come on.
Here he comes, Sir Hugo.
Here he is, Sir Hugo.
Now our waterfowl has become guinea fowl.
Guinea pig, more likely.
Bird or beast will still make him sing like a nightingale. No, sir. This may teach you to criticize my pleasures.
If 'twere anyone but my own daughter, master.
You should be proud that a Baskerville should so much as look at your miserable child. No, the game was spoiled before the wager was laid. Do not crowd me, sirs, I pray. I will not pay. Well, if I must, I must. But not in gold. In kind. With a plaything I was keeping for myself.
I accept. Where is the girl?
Girl. What talk is this of a girl? I know of no girl. Enough, enough! You shall see her at once, and you shall see her before Sir Richard bursts with passion. See to it that there be no fighting among your herd of rams. What does she think I am that she does this to me? Damn her! Damn her! I have her now. You there, let loose the pack! And you, my hunter at the door! Set the hounds on her. But sir, you can't shoot them. Hounds! Let loose the pack!
You cannot do this.
I'll get her! May the hounds of hell take me if I can't hunt her down.
so the curse of Sir Hugo came upon the Baskervilles in the shape of a hound from hell, forever to bring misfortune to the Baskerville family. Therefore, take heed, and beware the moor in those dark hours when evil is exalted, else you will surely meet the hound of hell, the hound of the Baskervilles. So ends the legend. And what, may I ask, do you think of that, Mr. Holmes?
There must be hundreds of similar folk stories. I fail to see why I should find this one of singular interest. What do you say, Watson?
Well, I'm sure Dr. Mortimer's intentions are for the best, but there seems little to be gained from what he's told us.
I had hoped, sir, that the facts I have laid before you might have intrigued you as a detective. I was obviously mistaken. Good day, sir.
Dr. Mortimer, it was something more important that brought you all the way from Devonshire to Baker Street. Something that occurred on Dartmoor on Friday, the 13th of June.
You've known about it all the time, then?
I know nothing, except that you live on Dartmoor. That you have a copy of the Devon County Chronicle in your briefcase dated June the 14th. That newspaper is published on Saturdays, but goes to press on Thursdays. You've kept it for something vitally important. There is nothing of particular interest in the headlines, therefore it must be in the stop press. So, whatever it was happened on the Friday the 13th of June.
But this is remarkable.
Superficial. There's nothing remarkable about using one's eyes. Now, sir, would you be prepared to give us the relevant facts?
Yes. Yes, under the circumstances, I think I would.
Proceed.
Thank you. Well, this is just the stop press. Devonshire knight found dead. The body of Sir Charles Baskerville discovered on Dartmoor early today. Foul play not suspected. Of course, the account in the next edition is much fuller. Where are we? Yes, here we are. The death of Sir Charles Baskerville has caused much sadness in the small village of Grimpen, Dartmoor. Dr. Richard Mortimer, a well-known Devonshire personality, said today that...
If you'll pardon me, Dr. Mortimer, I want just the plain facts, in your own words. Please.
Very well. The plain facts of the matter are that a fortnight ago, Sir Charles Baskerville was found lying dead on the moor.
Who found him?
His servant, Barrymore. He and his wife are housekeepers up at Baskerville Hall. He fetched me at once and took me straight back to the body.
Where was the body? Somewhere on Dartmoor, I know, but exactly where? It's a very large place.
Near the Abbey ruins up on the hill, not far from Baskerville Hall. The place where Sir Hugo died in the legend. And the circumstances were exactly the same.
You mean that Sir Charles had been attacked? That his throat had been torn out?
Oh, no. No, the body was untouched. But his face... Never in all my medical career have I seen such a look of horror on a dead person. Sir Charles must have been terrified when he died. But he was alone. The strange thing was, there were no footprints, Mr. Holmes.
That cannot be quite true, can it? There were the servant Barrymore's, for instance, your own and Sir Charles's.
Oh, yes, of course. But what I meant to say was, there were no other footprints.
Facts are only of value when they're clear, concise, and correct, Dr. Mortimer. Pray continue.
And there was another strange thing. Sir Charles must have been tiptoeing back to Baskerville Hall when he died. I could tell that because the footmarks showed only the toes of his boots. There were no heel marks. I'm something of an archaeologist in my spare time, and so I'm used to looking for the extraordinary.
You have not yet told us what Sir Charles died of. Before you do so, I suggest it was heart failure.
Well, the inquest found that he died of arteriosclerosis, with disease of the coronary arteries.
A condition of the heart that can lead to heart failure.
Yes, I think it must be hereditary of the Baskervilles. They all seem to suffer from the same weakness.
Is there a successor to the family title?
Yes, Sir Henry Baskerville. He's due to arrive in London tonight from Johannesburg.
Why have you come to me, Dr. Mortimer, when you really don't believe that I can help you?
I don't think I know what you mean.
I think you do. Excuse me. Although you knew Sir Charles died of natural causes, you've implied that he met a more horrible death. That he might have encountered this hound of hell, the curse of the Baskervilles. Do you really believe that legend?
There are many things in life and death that we do not understand, Mr. Holmes.
Then I suggest you might have done better to have consulted a priest instead of a detective. Do you imagine that I can influence the powers of darkness?
Of course not. I thought you might prevent Sir Henry from going into danger.
My dear sir, it is an evil curse on the family. It can be just as powerful in London as in Devonshire. Where will you be staying?
At the Northumberland Hotel. Does this mean then that you will investigate the matter?
I have not said so. My commitments are heavy.
I beg of you, Mr. Holmes. This is a matter of life and death.
Well, there can be no harm done by my seeing the man. Shall we say 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at the hotel?
Good. That will suit admirably. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. You will not find me ungenerous in the matter of fees.
My professional charges are upon a fixed scale. I do not vary them, except when I remit them altogether. Good day.
Good day, Mr. Holmes. Thank you, Doctor.
Not at all, Doctor.
Good day, Dr. Watson.
Well, I must say, you never cease to surprise me, Holmes. First you tear the man apart, and then you say that you'll help him.
My dear Watson, you ought to know me better by now. I had to burst the balloon, deflate the man's pomposity to find one significant clue.
Oh, I saw nothing of significance in anything he said. I'm surprised you bothered with the man.
Nevertheless, one important point did emerge. Didn't you notice anything odd in what he told us?
Well, the only thing odd I noticed was that he said that Sir Charles was tiptoeing about Dartmoor in the middle of the night.
That's just it, Watson. Well done, my boy. But he wasn't tiptoeing. He was running. Running for his life. Running in panic until he burst his heart. Now, would you mind sorting out a large-scale map of Dartmoor, my dear fellow, while I find some more tobacco? This, I think, is a two-pipe problem.
Come in. So you finally managed to get here?
I was not aware that we'd kept you.
Kept me? I sent you over 20 minutes ago.
Well, I think perhaps you've made a mistake.
Yes, I've made a mistake, all right. The mistake I made was never coming to this hotel. What have you been able to find out about my other boot? They were both here when I put them out to be cleaned last night, but nobody knows. Porter, the maid, the boot boy. Nobody in this hotel of yours knows where the other one's gone to. You're the manager. Perhaps you'll be good enough to tell me just what you do with all your boots.
I'm a few minutes late, I'm afraid. Those confounded horse buses. However, I see you both made each other's acquaintance, so we might as well get down to business, eh?
We had not yet been given an opportunity to introduce ourselves.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please let me. Sir Henry, let me introduce Mr. Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, Sir Henry Baskerville.
I'm afraid you're a little late, Mortimer. I've already managed to make quite a fool of myself. Gentlemen, I must ask you to accept my apologies. Dr. Watson, Mr. Holmes.
How do you do?
Very glad to meet you both. I'm sorry if I've embarrassed you.
Please say no more about it. It was quite understandable.
Yes, indeed. I hope that the missing boot will turn up very soon.
So do I. I can understand somebody wanting to steal a pair of boots, but one... Well, there it is. Please sit down, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Mr. Holmes.
Dr. Mortimer has no doubt explained why he's asked us to come here.
He has, and I may as well tell you, I consider him to have been somewhat hasty in asking for your advice.
Oh, I'm sure it was only to protect your interests. He has told you of the legend of the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yes, but I don't attach any importance to that sort of old wives' tale.
A man after my own heart. You intend to go down to Devonshire and live at Baskerville Hall?
I've already come a very long way, Mr. Holmes, to do exactly that, and nothing is going to stop me. You can understand that, surely.
I can indeed. The estate must be worth a vast amount of money. Exactly how much, Dr. Mortimer? You will forgive me if I ask what may seem a very personal question.
Of course. Well?
Well, when everything's settled up, I suppose close on £1 million.
Mm. Did anyone else benefit under Sir Charles's will?
Yes. He left the Barrymores £1,000, which I thought was rather too generous. And I myself received something.
How much?
Come, Mr. Holmes, is this really necessary?
I would not have asked otherwise.
Very well. He left me £40,000. But then, you see, I was Sir Charles's best friend.
Were there no other relatives?
No. Sir Henry is the last of the Baskervilles. That's why I'm so anxious to safeguard his interests.
Oh, very wise of you. One thing is certain, Sir Henry. On no account must you go down to Devonshire alone.
Well, that's all taken care of. Dr. Mortimer's coming with me.
Dr. Mortimer will have his practice to attend to.
I can look after myself, Mr. Holmes.
I must impress upon you that I believe your life to be in some considerable danger.
Now, look, Mr. Holmes, if you attach so much importance to this, why don't you come down to Dartmoor with me today? We can pack a bag before the train leaves.
You're going today? I can't possibly leave town until the end of the week at least. Watson?
Yeah?
You're free at the moment, aren't you?
Well, yes, I am. If you think I could do the job.
You're the very man for it. That's settled then. You'll go down with them. We'll keep in touch by telegram. Sir Henry, I am not a man to overestimate danger, but I must insist upon one thing. Under no circumstances are you to venture out onto the moor alone at night.
Oh, very well. As things have gone as far as this, I'll do as you say for the moment. But I'm not yet convinced that I need the services of a detective at all. Unless it's helped me find my other boot.
Sir Henry, keep perfectly still if you value your life. Move your head carefully. I must.
Leave it to me now, Holmes.
No, look after him.
Grab him off my quick. There you are.
What a filthy thing. Horrible.
You've had a lucky escape, but we must make certain never to be caught off our guard again.
You're suggesting that that thing was put in there deliberately?
The powers of evil can take many forms. Remember that, Sir Henry, when you're at Baskerville Hall. Do as the legend tells, and avoid the moor when the forces of darkness are exalted.
Are you sure you don't want us to take you into the village, Mortimer?
Quite sure. It'll only take you out of your way. Whereas it's only a short walk across the moor.
You'd be better off to go along with us, Doctor.
Kindly wait until you're spoken to, Perkins. And get on with what you're doing.
Whatever you say, sir. But don't blame me if you get your throat cut.
What are you talking about, man?
There's been an escape.
An escape? When?
Night before last. Man named Selden. Nasty customer from all accounts.
What's all this about, Mortimer?
Oh, forgive me, Sir Henry. You wouldn't know about it. One of our largest prisons, commonly called Dartmoor, lies only 7 miles across the moor. It appears that one of the prisoners has broken out.
Selden. Yes, I remember the case. He murdered a number of street women.
I thought you hanged people for murder in this country.
Oh, there was some talk of him being insane, so they sentenced him to life imprisonment instead. Won't do him no good, though, sir, escaping. He'll only starve himself to death out there. Or something worse.
What do you mean by that?
Why, nothing, sir. Just my foolishness.
I feel you should let us take you into the village, Mortimer. He might be anywhere out there.
Don't you worry about me. I can look after myself. Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, Perkins. Here.
Curse upon the family. Unhappiness and death to his descendants. That's what he left, Sir Henry.
Certainly has a lot to answer for. What about this one here?
That was another picture of Sir Hugo. It disappeared under mysterious circumstances some months back.
You mean it was stolen?
In the middle of the night.
And what steps were taken to recover it?
Your uncle called in the police from Exeter, but they could find no trace.
Well, one picture of that scoundrel's more than enough. What do you say, Watson? Oh, your glass is empty, please.
Oh.
You must be bored to tears by all this rigmarole about my family. You must think me a terrible host.
Oh, not at all, not at all. I found it extremely interesting.
Have you? Well, it's very nice of you to say, sir. Barrymore.
Sir.
Would you and your good wife care to join me in a toast?
Most kind of you, Sir Henry.
Let us drink to my first day at Baskerville Hall. And to my firm belief that the family curse is nothing but a legend, and that the Hound of Hell will never again bring fear to those on the moor at night.
I must ask you to excuse my wife's behavior, Sir Henry. She was most upset by Sir Charles's death. Her nerves have been in a bad way ever since.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Barrymore. Watson, you can give her something for her nerves, can't you?
Yes, of course. I will. So, Barrymore, since you've mentioned Sir Charles's death, perhaps you could tell us a little more about it. You were the first to discover the body, weren't you?
That's correct. It was terrible, sir. I never saw such a dreadful look on anybody's face before.
You found Sir Charles's body up near the old abbey, I understand. What made you go up there to look for him?
I didn't, sir. I was on my way to tell Dr. Mortimer that he was missing, and then I saw Sir Charles lying there dead.
But what made you decide to go across the moor to look for Sir Charles? I've had a look at a map of the locality. Surely it would have been quicker for you to have taken the track and gone by road.
There's a shortcut across the moor, sir.
Barrymore, did you go across the moor because you were half expecting to find Sir Charles there? Because of the legend? Well, you know about the legend of the Hound of the Baskervilles, don't you? Do you believe it? Do you really believe that there is a creature out there?
I don't know what to believe, sir. All I know is that I've heard it. Heard its terrible howl on the night before Sir Charles died. And I never want to hear such a sound again in all my life.
Sir?
Oh, no, thank you, no, thank you. It's gone away. Oh, damn it, I could have done with that. It's an excellent specimen of Coleoptera scapers. I collect them, you know. Why, it's Henry, eh?
It is.
Yeah, the Baskerville mouth. I could have recognized you anywhere, even among the natives. That's Franklin was the name. Franklin, Bishop of the Outer Isles, for what they're worth.
Very glad to meet you, sir. Won't you come in?
Frank. Yes, how good, how very good to see a new owner of Baskerville Hall, eh? Oh, well, no, that's not quite what I meant. Poor Sir Charles. Oh, what a splendid fellow he was.
So you knew my uncle?
Knew him, my dear fellow. We were the greatest friends. How many times Sir Charles and I have discussed life, you know, over a glass of sherry.
Well, in that case, Bishop, perhaps you'd care to join me in a glass of sherry now.
Now, you mentioned sherry. I think perhaps I might like a glass.
I saw Bishop Franklin coming up the drive, Sir Henry.
Barrymore. Oh, still the faithful retainer, eh? Oh. Thank you.
You, Sir Henry?
No, thank you, Barrymore.
You know, it's the best sherry in Devon. I always say, oh, Sir Charles knew his creature comforts all right. seen him with some very attractive creatures at times. Yeah. Yes, he knew a woman when he saw one, did Sir Charles? Oh, yes, poor fellow. May he rest in peace. What a loss. Oh, you know, I think I should like another glass. Yeah.
Oh, Watson, I don't think you met the bishop. Bishop Frankland, Dr. Watson.
Watson, you say the name is. Yes, well, I knew a Watson in Caprina. Yes, a notorious white slave. A nice fellow, though. Relation of yours?
No, sir. Not that I know of. But of course it is possible. You've come to approve the new lord of the manor, I imagine.
I think that's necessary. But why have I come? Oh, yes, of course, the jumble sale.
Jumble sale? What on earth's that?
Oh, it's a colloquial expression, Sir Henry. It's, well, a sale of oddments, Sir Henry. And I was wondering if you had anything you could spare for us. An odd tablecloth or an old suit or some, well, cast-off silver.
I'm quite sure I can. I'll ask Mrs. Barrymore.
Well, that's very kind of you. May I give you the address in which you could have them sent? And I'm sure we shall all be very grateful to you. Very grateful indeed. Yeah, if you'd have them sent there. And I shan't apologize for the facts. They're rather charming. All things bright and beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just going down to the village to leave some instructions at the post office, Sir Henry. If you'll excuse me, Lord Bishop.
Well, of course, I'll give you a lift on the tricycle, but I want to chat with Sir Henry.
Goodbye.
I'm afraid you'll be expected to open the sale, Sir Henry, yes, and judge the prettiest mother and baby. You know, dear old Sir Charles, he loved doing that. Yes, he did indeed. Yes, I remember one occasion when one of the babies went, oh dear, oh dear.
Don't move. Stay where you are. I said not to move, sir.
There's no call to use that kind of trap. It's unnecessarily cruel.
A man's got to live, sir.
There are other ways of killing animals without torturing them. Why don't you use a gun? No. I'm sorry.
Besides, cartridges cost money. Some of us haven't got much of that to spend. It's a poor life on the moor, Sir Henry.
I'm afraid you've made a mistake. My name is Watson, though I am staying at Baskerville Hall.
With Sir Henry?
Yes.
When you see the new squire, tell him his new neighbor would like to meet him. I farm the low pastures near the hall. Have done for nearly a year. Poor land it is, too.
What name is it?
Stapleton.
Very well, I'll tell Sir Henry. I wonder, could you tell me how to get to Baskerville Hall? I seem to have lost my way.
You're bare right at the fork.
Thank you.
Mr. Watson, don't step off the track or you'll find yourself in Griffin Mire. Once in there, you'll never get out.
Thank you. Good morning. I wonder, could you tell me, am I on the right path to Baskerville Hall? The track seems to end here.
Hey, watch out! The mire! Hey, I say! Cecile, come back! Hold on. Cecile! Cecile! Wait, my girl. I'll teach you to come when you're cold. Now get the count down as near as you can. Be quick about it. Will you do as you're told, girl? I told you to watch out.
Who is that girl?
My daughter. The moor's no place for a girl.
What was she frightened of?
There's a convict escaped from the prison. I'll help you to the cart. Watch where I step.
Thank you. Now that you're here, would you like to come in and see Sir Henry?
It's as good a time as any.
Yeah. And, how about Miss Stapleton? Would she like to come in, too?
She'll wait where she is.
Very well. Well, good morning, Miss Stapleton.
Hello. If you're looking for the new owner, I'm afraid you won't find him at home.
Go away.
I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm Henry Baskerville. May I ask?
Please go away. My father will be out in a moment.
And so your father's gone into the hall, has he? Well, let's join him.
No, don't.
Here, wait a minute.
Leave me alone.
Just a minute. Calm down. Now, why did you run away? Well, come on, why did you run away? I've done nothing to frighten you.
My father.
What about your father?
He would have seen us.
Well, what of it? Huh?
Now, would you let me go?
Cecile! Where have you been? Come on, girl, where have you been?
Morning.
Morning. Sir Henry Baskerville, isn't it?
Yes.
I've been looking forward to meeting you, sir. My name's Stapleton. Welcome to Dartmoor.
You're very kind.
I run the home farm. You'll be very welcome whenever you're that way. Well, we must be getting on our way, mustn't we, Cecile? Good day to you, sir.
Good day, Mr. Stapleton.
Come on. Come on.
Watson, here. Move the candle about, quickly. I'll swear I saw a light out there in the moor as soon as you picked up the candle. There's someone out there signaling to the house. Come on.
André, you must stay with me.
We're still in line with the night.
Yes, but we're not near enough yet. Keep close to me. Don't go off to the left or you'll be in Grimpen Mire. Right? Come on. Come out! We're on!
They've gone. Whoever they are, they must have heard us.
Watson! Come on! There's still a chance!
He's down there somewhere. What was that, Watson? What was that? It's my heart.
Drink some of this. Will you be able to get back as I help you?
I'll try.
Come on, then.
That is for me to decide, Sir Henry. I suggest that you have a little rest. Good night.
Good night.
I really don't know why you bothered to send for me, Watson. After all, as a doctor, you're just as capable as I am.
Does your diagnosis confirm mine?
Yes, a similar heart condition to his uncle agreed. Hereditary, no doubt, but nowhere near so far advanced.
All the same, I'd like to leave him in your charge until I get back.
If you insist. Anyway, my night's sleep is ruined. But I really can't see that it's necessary.
Nevertheless, I'd appreciate it if you would stay. It's essential that I go back to the moor.
All right. I'll stay.
Why have you left Sir Henry alone?
Holmes.
I repeat, why have you left Sir Henry alone?
Dr. Mortimer is with him.
Anyone else?
Yes, the Barrymores.
Very well, then. Forgive me if my dramatic entrance startled you. Well, it's good to see you again, Watson. It's been rather lonely up here.
Oh, this is fantastic. How long have you been in Devon?
Exactly 4 hours and 52 minutes less than you. I caught the next train down after yours.
It's your telegram.
I wrote that before I left town and arranged to have it delivered later.
So it was you I saw. Well, I think you might have let me know what you intended to do, Holmes.
I'm sorry, Watson. But I didn't want it known I was here. Besides, you would have tried to prevent me. You will understand, I had to find Selden.
Selden, the convict? Well, that was madness.
No doubt, but effectual.
But how did you know he was on the moor?
I read about it in the newspapers, Watson. The escape was well reported. I'm surprised you didn't notice it. He told me all he had seen since he's been hiding.
Well, what had he seen? What did he tell you?
There is more evil around us here than I have ever encountered before.
Well, I still don't see...
Mortimer's gone. His pony cart's not there. You told him to stay with Sir Henry?
Well, indeed I did.
Which way? For heaven's sake, which way? Too late. They're too late.
Sir Henry. Watch out, Holmes. There's treacherous here. Let's go back and get help, then come back for the body. I'm to blame for this. I shall never forgive myself.
I warned him. What could have possessed him to come out alone in the moor? The last of the Baskervilles. His life was in our hands. I shall not rest until I destroy the thing that killed him.
You're Barrymore, I think.
Yes, sir.
Barrymore, I want you to get a ladder, some rope and lanterns, and have them loaded on the cart within 5 minutes. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Good. What's in your room?
This way. I'll show you what to do.
And have those attended to, will you?
Very good, sir.
I'll trouble you for a pair of dry stout boots and a heavy coat before we go out again.
Yes, of course. You know, Holmes, I can't help feeling that if I hadn't gone out and left Sir Henry alone...
We to avenge his death, not mourn over it.
No.
Who's there?
Holmes, for heaven's sake, when did you get here? I am glad to see you again.
I am more than glad to see you, Sir Henry.
Who was it, Holmes? Who was the poor devil that died instead of me?
Well, if my deductions are correct, it was the convict Selden. The fellow was a murderer, I know, but he shouldn't have died in such a fashion.
Yes, but why him? The curse is only on the Baskervilles. Is no one safe from the Hound?
Selden had on the suit of clothes you were wearing when we first met in London. How did he get them?
He must have broken in and stolen them, I suppose.
Possibly, but unlikely.
Sir Henry, why did Dr. Mortimer leave so suddenly tonight? He told me that he'd stay until I got back.
Stupid row, really. He kept on about my uncle's death and the curse on the family. Well, I asked him if he was trying to frighten me and tell him to mind his own business.
I should like a few words with Dr. Mortimer sometime.
Excuse me, Sir Henry. Is there anything else you'll be requiring?
No, thank you, Barrymore, not as far as I'm concerned. You prepared a room for Mr. Holmes?
Yes, sir. Will you still be needing the ladder and rope you asked for tonight, sir?
No, not now. But I shall want them and your help first thing in the morning.
Very good, sir.
Oh, Barrymore,
Sir?
that room at the end of the corridor upstairs. Has it been used lately?
Not for some time, sir.
I see. I think you'll find a candle burning near the window in that room. Would you kindly extinguish it? It's serving no useful purpose.
Very good, sir.
Thank you. And now, with your permission, to bed.
Yes. Yes, we could all do with a good night's sleep.
This, I perceive, is Sir Hugo Baskerville, the man who started all the trouble.
Yes, it is. How the devil did you know?
Oh, family likeness. There are certain features that are unmistakable. What happened to the picture that hung here?
That one? Nobody knows. It disappeared some time ago.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course, it had to. Stupid of me. Yes, well, good night.
Oh, that's strange. There's nothing there. I could have sworn that that was the spot. Well, it must be more over this way.
No, Watson. You were right. This was the place. Look at this. Here's another trace. And another. You can see where they're leading to. Barrymore!
Sir?
Tell Perkins to bring the cart up to the ruins as near as he can, then you follow us.
Yes, sir.
We won't find the body down here.
What's been going on here, Holmes?
The Baskerville crest, engraved on the hilt.
Mr. Holmes!
As I thought. Seldom. His body's been mutilated. Some revolting sacrificial rite has been performed. What depths a human being can sink to.
What human being could have done this?
That is precisely what I intend to find out.
You rang for me, sir.
I did, Mrs. Barrymore. Sit down, please.
No, thank you, sir. I prefer to stand.
As you wish. I want to ask you and your husband a few questions, if you don't mind. How long have you been married?
Married? Must be almost 5 years now, isn't it?
Is that right, Miss Selden?
Yes, sir. We got married about...
Please, sit down. Your name was Selden before you married, wasn't it? And the convict who escaped was your brother?
How did you know?
Your brother told me.
He's dead, sir, isn't he?
Yes, I'm afraid he is.
How did it happen?
You gave Selden some of Sir Henry's clothes, didn't you?
Well,
Someone, or something, mistook your brother for Sir Henry.
You mustn't blame my husband, sir. I gave him the clothes. Sir Henry said I might take them for the village sale. But why should they have them when my brother was out on the moor, cold and hungry? Oh, I know he was bad, sir, but he was ill, really. And he was my brother. You can't leave someone you love out there, cold and starving.
I understand. It might help you to know he also told me he would never let them recapture him alive.
How long, my dear?
Poor woman. I suppose when Sir Henry and I arrived here at the hall, she found it difficult to get food to her brother.
Yes, they had to arrange a signal with the candle at the window to show when the coast was clear.
Couldn't they be charged with helping an escaped convict?
They could, but they won't. I've satisfied the local police.
Well, what's the next move?
All things bright and beautiful, or creatures great and small. I wonder if that includes tarantulas.
Tarantulas?
But, Holmes,
A gentleman to see you, my lord.
Oh, good, good. And just in time. I'm still having trouble with it, you know. Will you come and have a look at it? Of course, I'm not an engineering man, but it seems to me that this eccentric is malaligned. Or perhaps if this can were buffed to another thou or so, it might make all the difference, don't you think? Or perhaps a shim.
graphite grease.
What? Oh, of course. Well, I've got some. Do you know, I never thought of it.
Allow me.
Oh, thank you. Here, sit here. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you are. You'll want that. Yeah. Now, let's see. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That's done the trick. Yeah. I wish Mrs. Goodlip would leave those windows alone. Oh, never mind. Take a glass of sherry before you go.
Bishop Franklin,
Oh, nonsense. A little wine for your stomach's sake. That's in the Bible. I think you'll like this. Now, what do I owe you for your trouble? Your fare from Exeter, of course.
My lord, I think you've mistaken me for someone else.
Oh, no. Only somebody from Warburton and Crawley could have solved that problem.
Nevertheless, I am not from Warburton and Crawley.
Not?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm staying with Sir Henry Baskerville.
Oh, allow me to shake the hand of the country's greatest detective. I say that case of the Bermondsey forgery. That was a first-class piece of work.
Thank you. And I am pleased to shake the hand of the country's most distinguished entomologist.
You heard of me? Oh, flattering.
I know that the directors of the Regent's Park Zoo regard you as the highest living authority on the study of rare spiders.
Spiders?
And it is about that very subject that I've come to see you. A species of the genus Theraphosa.
Tarantula. Oh. Everybody's asking me about tarantulas these days. No, I'm afraid I can't help you on that subject.
How very disappointing. Because I found one.
Found one? Have you, by Jove?
Dead, fortunately.
Oh, pity. Never mind. Where did you find it? Somewhere about the village, so that?
No, in London.
Oh, up there.
Nevertheless, it was the same spider that you lost.
Oh, impossible. Far too far away. Are you suggesting that I've lost a spider?
I'm afraid I am. You have, haven't you? You lost a spider sent you from the London Zoo about 5 days ago.
Yeah. Are you interested in butterflies?
My lord, I must insist. Will it help if I tell you I am fighting evil? Fighting it as surely as you do.
Oh, yes, very well. I did lose a tarantula. I missed it last Thursday. I've been worried out of my life ever since. They're dangerous, you know.
So I understand, but you needn't worry any longer. The spider is dead. Now, it is important that you answer this question correctly. What visitors did you have on the day you missed the tarantula?
Visitors? Well, that's difficult because Thursday's my comb day. I mean, a lot of people like to look in for a sherry and a chat. Let me see, there was old Mrs. Smythe. Poor woman. Drinks. Oh, yes. Dr. Mortimer before lunch. Oh, dear old Mortimer, how he talks. The Stapletons to tea. Oh, yes, the man about the woodworm in the belfry. Fascinating little creatures, but the church is full of them, you know.
I'm extremely sorry to hear that. And the man's name?
Smith, I think.
And no one else?
Last Thursday? No.
Thank you, my Lord Bishop. That is all I wish to know. It has been most kind of you and most helpful.
And thank you for helping me with my telescope.
Not at all.
Oh, remarkable instrument. It's surprising what you can see through a good telescope. Now, what's going on in the big world? There's the Henry. Where's he off to? Oh, dear me, this is very interesting. Come and have a look. Come here, come and have a look. Oh, he's gone.
Anybody at home? Mr. Stapleton?
Why did you come here?
I'm sorry, you must think me very rude, but I did knock. I've come to see your father.
He's not here. He's gone to Baskerville Hall.
Is he? May I ask why?
To invite you and your friends to dinner tonight.
That's very kind of him.
Would you like some cider?
Thank you very much, I would. What time are we expected to arrive?
You mean you will come?
I'm looking forward to it.
It won't be like Baskerville Hall.
I haven't spent all my life at Baskerville Hall, Cecile. I like your home.
This is not my home. My home is in Spain. We were looking at the picture of my parents. My mother was a fine woman. A fine Spanish woman. She would hear nothing of living in England. She was born in Spain and there she would die, she said. And she did die. We came here to England. My father spent all the money we had saved to come back to England to become a gentleman farmer in his own country. But the land he bought is no good. The man is gone. We have a saying at home. Hierba mala nunca muere. Weeds are not killed by the frost. We still live.
Have you ever thought of going back?
I've thought of nothing else. My father's too proud to admit he's beaten. Proud of this. And so we are left with the moor and the mist.
You must be very lonely.
Yes, I am very lonely. When you are poor, no one wants to know you.
I want to know you, Cecile. Why did you run away from me yesterday when we'd hardly met? Why did you kiss me, Cecile? Why?
I don't know.
Tell me.
I don't know. I don't know.
Will you meet me tonight at the hall? We can walk back across the moor.
If you want me to.
Our paths seem to have crossed this morning, Sir Henry. I suppose you've come to talk about the farm. You have cider? Good. Cecile, fetch another tankard for me. Now, quickly about it, girl. Do sit down, Sir Henry.
Thank you.
I was wondering whether you and your guests at the hall would care to join us for a meal here tonight. Adjustable fare, of course.
Yes, so your daughter's already told me. I'd be very pleased to. And so I think will Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Good. It'll be a change for us to have visitors. Your health, sir.
How can you be so certain that somebody took one of the bishop's spiders and deliberately placed it in Sir Henry's room? That it wasn't in the luggage he brought from South Africa?
Elementary, my dear Watson. There are no tarantulas in South Africa.
Now, well, whoever placed it there didn't know that.
Precisely.
But he did know when and where Sir Henry was arriving and where he'd be staying.
He also knew a great deal about the Baskerville family. A bite from a tarantula is not necessarily deadly to a healthy man, but to a man with a weak heart.
Well, that indicates that it's somebody from this part of the country.
Why not? There's an excellent train service to and from London. And as Sir Charles died on Dartmoor only a month ago, it would arouse less suspicion if Sir Henry died in London.
Sir Charles, I'd almost forgotten about him.
Oh, it's a good thing I remembered, wasn't it?
Well, all right. But the person who benefited most from Sir Charles's will was Sir Henry. You're not going to suggest that he killed his uncle, are you?
£1 million is a great temptation. In a case such as this, everyone is suspect, even Sir Henry.
Dr. Mortimer was the only one who knew where Sir Henry would be staying in London, and when he was arriving.
Oh, no. No. The London Times would have published it.
Well, what about the legend of the Hound of Hell? Remember, we've both seen something with horror.
What? Do inspire me.
Let me see your map, quickly. Selden swore he heard his cries coming from the very depths of the earth, the Hound of Hell. Let me see. Really, I must pull myself together. I should have noticed this long ago.
Ah, Holmes. Barrymore told me you'd arrived. About time, too, if I may say so. Considering what happened to that convict fellow last night.
The development I deeply regret, Dr. Mortimer.
Well, I don't. A man like that deserves all he gets. Now, in case you're both wondering why I'm here, I've just come over to start looking through the family estate. I think I'm wasting my time, if you ask me. You know, really, Holmes, I find it quite impossible to get on with Sir Henry.
I understand you had a disagreement with him last night.
Disagreement? The fellow was downright rude, if that's what you mean.
Hardly a good enough excuse to leave someone alone when you know him to be in danger.
You did tell me that you'd stay with Sir Henry until I got back.
What if I did? I don't see why I should be insulted by the man I'm trying to protect. After all, I only mentioned the subject of the legend.
Now, you are very fond of doing that, Dr. Mortimer. Why? You were the first to discover the existence of the legend, weren't you?
Mr. Holmes, when I engaged you, I looked to you to protect Sir Henry's interests. I'm beginning to see for the first time in my life I was wrong in my judgment. If you care to relinquish the case...
I never relinquish a case.
Mr. Holmes!
But please, don't let us fall out at this stage. I need your help, unfortunately. You know a great deal about the geography and the history of this district, I believe.
I am considered something of an authority.
There is an old tin mine marked here on the map. Does it still exist?
I believe so. What of it? It's been derelict for years.
Yes, I rather fear this map will be out of date. Could you show me the way to the entrance?
What on earth for?
Could you?
I'm afraid not. I haven't been near there for years. Perhaps Stapleton can help you. It lies under his ground.
If you agreed to show me, would you be prepared to come with us?
I suggest that you stay away from the mine, Mr. Holmes. It hasn't been in use for a long time, and the shafting is in a dangerous condition.
And how do you know that, if you haven't been near there for years?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? Any kind of tunneling is dangerous if it isn't in a proper state of repair.
All the same, I feel I must take a look at it. Will you come with me? As an archaeologist, your help will be invaluable.
I suppose if you're going to make an issue of it, I shall have to come.
Good. Good man.
What do you want me to do?
Identify anything I may find. Strange things are to be found on the moor. Like this, for instance.
Where did you find that?
Interesting, isn't it? Could you tell me how old it is?
Well, I'm not sure. But 1700, I imagine.
1740, to be exact. And the blood, how old is that?
I couldn't tell.
Then I will tell you, it is less than 10 hours old. Could you tell me anything else about the weapon? No? Oh, come. With your knowledge of the legend, I made certain you would have known. This is the dagger Sir Hugo Baskerville used to murder the farm girl in the Abbey. And more recently, it has been used for some diabolical ceremony.
All right, Watson. We're all on quite safely.
Good. I'll be waiting for you here.
I don't expect we shall be very long.
You'd both better follow close behind me for the moment. You'll have to watch your step. It's very slippery down here. The water seeps through from the mire.
Don't touch any of the props, whatever you do. Have the whole roof done on this. We should never have come down here. It's far too dangerous.
What do you expect to find, Mr. Holmes?
What is one likely to find under the ground? Bones, perhaps?
This is dangerous. You carry on, Mr. Holmes, while we chop the wheels.
Certainly.
Here you are. Thank you.
We won't need to go any further. I found what I came down for.
No good, Watson?
Leave the lanterns there, Mr. Stapleton.
We must go back to the village and get some help.
I'm afraid it won't do no good, sir. Must be a ton of rock blocking that shaft there.
Well, we must try.
You must resign yourself to the fact that there's not the slightest hope that he's still alive. Don't you agree, Stapleton?
You know as much about it as I do. It's over 2 hours since the roof fell. You'll be down there yourself. We haven't heard a sound.
Not likely to with all that rock in front of us. That don't mean to say he's not alive, though. There's plenty of air in that old mine. Comes in from them ventilating shafts, sir.
Well, couldn't we get down one of them and find him that way?
I wouldn't like to say so. I doubt if the man in the villages knows them entrances nowadays.
Well, we must try to find one. Mr. Stapleton, will you lead us back to the path immediately, please?
I did warn him not to go. You were there. You heard me, didn't you, Watson?
There's still a chance.
A very good chance. I've been sitting here for the last 10 minutes waiting for you.
Holmes! Thank heaven you're safe.
But how did you get out? This is wonderful.
Most gratifying. Now, when the general applause has died down, I wonder if we could get back to the hall. I've hurt my leg. I'm cold, and I'm hungry.
Will you please stop behaving like a maiden aunt, once and for all? If I hadn't known there were a number of entrances to the mine, I should never have gone down the confounded place.
But for a wretched old beef bone.
It is not a wretched old beef bone, my boy. That's just the point. It's a relatively new one. No, would you mind, please, passing me my tobacco?
Where is it?
You'll find it in the top right-hand drawer, an unopened tin.
You must have put it somewhere else.
The right-hand top drawer.
I'm looking in the right-hand top drawer.
Isn't it there?
Well, I've just told you it isn't there. Here it is.
Just a minute. I know I put it there this morning. Watson, the bottom drawer, where I put the dagger. Is it still locked?
No. Holmes, the lock's been forced. The dagger's not there.
Well, how's the leg feeling now?
Not very good.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I wasn't able to tell you before, but Stapleton has asked the three of us over for a meal tonight.
Oh, has he?
Yes, I thought it was a very nice gesture. Still, I don't suppose you'll feel like going with your leg the way it is.
No, I don't.
They'll be very disappointed. And Cecile is waiting for me downstairs. Of course, I wouldn't dream of going without you.
My dear Sir Henry, if you'd really wanted us to come with you, you'd have told us about the invitation much sooner than this.
I beg your pardon?
You'd better be off. You mustn't be late for your peasant friends.
I don't like that, Holmes.
I don't like the people you're mixing with. I should have thought in your new position you would have cultivated worthier friends. I hope you enjoy their rabbit pie.
Mr. Holmes, I appreciate the fact that you are here to help me. Nevertheless, I would remind you that you are also a guest in my house. Good night.
Good night.
Well, I do think you might...
Watson, will stop talking nonsense. You know my methods. Couldn't you see I was being purposely rude? I wanted him to go without us. The dagger's gone. Don't you realize what that means? Sir Henry is to die tonight.
You sure that leg of yours is all right?
It's got to be. We're to break the curse he laid on the Baskervilles.
Holmes, you learned something from that portrait that I was never able to see.
The hands, Watson. Why do you think this painting was stolen? Because the artist revealed both hands. Barrymore's confirmed what I suspected. The fingers of Sir Hugo's right hand were webbed.
Stapleton.
Exactly, Stapleton. Illegitimate descendant of Sir Hugo, next in line to the Baskerville fortune.
This way.
But this is the way to the farm.
Come on.
Swine! You thought it was going to be easy, didn't you? Didn't you? You won't be the first of your family who thought that. And you won't be the first to die because of it. Remember the legend? Sir Hugo died here. His throat was torn out because of a girl. And Sir Charles, your dear uncle, he died here, didn't he? Died because he wanted me, like you. Died because he wanted a woman enough to bring me here alone at night. In spite of the Hound of the Baskerville. He died screaming. I know. I watched him. And now you are here, alone, at night. You don't understand, do you? Then let me explain. I too am a Baskerville, descended from Sir Hugo, descended from those who died in poverty while you scum ruled the moor. We waited and prayed for this moment, my father and I. Now our time has come, and yours. The curse of the Hound is on you.
I came to Sir Henry.
All right. All right, Sir Henry. The Hound is dead. And you must see it.
No, it is best that you should.
There is nothing to fear now. The passage leading from the mine to this place. I discovered it after Statesman tried to kill me down there. They use this mask to make it look more terrifying. It was starved for weeks,
kept down the mine till the time's ripe, then given the scent. They had to have something of yours to give the Hound.
We better get Sir Henry back to Baskerville Hall, Holmes. Have you got your cape? Where'd you get it from? So the curse has claimed its last victim.
Yes. No more will be heard of the Hound of the Baskerville.
I feel I have already suffered enough from my infamous ancestor. And so
I am sending you the missing portrait, which we found at Stapleton's farm, to add to your famous collection of souvenirs. I hope you will accept it. Also the check which I enclose for... Very generous. After tea, you must write to Sir Henry and tell him that I shall be pleased to accept both his gifts.
Tell me, Holmes, when did you first suspect the truth about this case?
The truth?
Yes, that the Hound was a real dog, not just a legendary myth.
Ah. When Sir Henry complained of a missing boot, that put me on the scent, as it were.
As early as that. It's incredible.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Elementary. Muffin?
Thank you.